There are things in this world we cannot explain, something hidden just beyond our view. Journey with us as we attempt to pierce the veil between our world and theirs. Join us as we pass through the doorway to the dead.
Join us at WLFE-DB.com for upcoming shows and so much more.
I'm going to have to get a new laptop.
Welcome in, everyone. It is Thursday, June 17th, 2021. I am Dave. This is Jim. We are one half of Keystone State Paranormal Society, and this is Doorway to the Dead, the 2-hour interactive talk show on the WLFE-DB network. We have been working real hard today, getting things done around the house and that type of stuff. So working on some plumbing and painting and scraping and all that good stuff. So we are kind of worn out. You good? No? Okay.
Wonder, let me try this. Go on out.
Okay. I don't know if that's long enough.
It fits in the side there.
Yeah, but I know you'd have to sit like this.
No, I'm up here anyway.
So, welcome in Jerry and Holly and John. My friend Mike from high school has made it down this weekend, and he is actually sitting on the other side of the bar.
Yeah.
So we're going to hang out after the show, but we have a very special guest, a friend of ours that we actually got to meet this past weekend at the metaphysical event that was held here at the Hoover House with Mark Nesbitt and our guest, April Busset, the psychic housewife of New Jersey. So let's bring her in. Hello, April.
Guys, hey.
How you doing?
Good. How are you? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
All right, great. I didn't get to say goodbye to you guys.
I think it's, yeah, it may interfere with two of them in there. See, I can still hear, but you can't.
Yeah.
It's fighting to see which
Now you get both? It's one out?
Yeah, I can hear good, yeah.
Huh. I guess
So-
it's not tolerated too.
Yeah. But that's okay. So I'm sorry to cut you off. You were saying, April?
I said I never got to say goodbye to you guys because last minute, you know what? It was my daughter's birthday. And I said, you know what? Let me leave early because I was going to stay over that night. I'm sorry. I'm just making sure I'm sharing this. I was going to stay over that night. But I said, you know what? While I'm still awake, I got done early. Let me drive home. It was a long ride.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
But you know what? I'm used to driving. Like I usually go to Virginia to do events, for Flumieri promotions. So I'm used to it.
Well, that's cool. That's cool.
It was a good day, though.
It really was. It really was. We had a lot of good traffic coming through here that day.
Yeah, I did a lot of readings. It was funny on my way up there. I kept seeing an older woman. Like she was telling me she was like the greeter of the Hoover House.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, all right. So when I get there, I see her. She's outside in front of the place and she's waving at me. But the funniest thing, and I told this to Pam, I said, she's telling me she doesn't like to wear underwear. Mm-hmm. This old lady.
Yeah, I do remember that. I do remember you talking about that. The old lady spirit who didn't like to wear underwear.
Yeah.
I remember that.
She told me.
Yeah, like I said, it was a good day. We got to meet for the first time in person.
Yes. I was so excited.
And what did you think of the house?
I love it. It's very the energy there is very good. It's very positive. The spirits that remain there are very it's a very positive energy, you know. The only thing I get nervous about because, you know, now this place is becoming active. And I think I told Pam and Steve this, because I've seen this, just through experience doing investigations. When it starts getting active and a lot of spirits starting to wake in and come around, there's always going to be a bad one that comes.
Yeah.
Oh.
We've sort of been trying to be vigilant in, monitoring stuff. And then luckily, there's some kind of hierarchy in place here.
Spirit-wise.
Spirit hierarchy that is doing a pretty good job. I mean,
I think it's that woman that I met, the E name. I know they said that Elizabeth. No, not Elizabeth. There was another name, and I think that was her, the woman that owned the house.
oh, that was Ella.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of E's.
Yeah.
But I know this is her property, and she will protect us. And she's a very positive energy. But I don't like, because I know I've done this for years. There'll always be this, it's not a demon, but it's not human. But I call it the soul collector, and they like to control the entities that earthbounds that are still on property or in places. So when they get involved, it's a little hairy.
No, I don't think I've ever heard of those before.
No, yeah.
That's a new term for me.
This is always something that I know. I used to keep it to myself, not to scare anyone, but I did come across one that, kind of tried to battle me and made me sick, like for a week. It kind of knocked me out. And like I was telling my husband, if I didn't have my daughter and him, I would go to battle with these people and knock them out of the stratosphere. But, now, because they know this is my kryptonite, my daughter.
Right.
So I back away, let them do their thing. I mean, if I have to get rid of them, I will, but I prefer not to. I usually hand it over to somebody else.
Yeah.
Protect my daughter.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we had, after everyone left, I guess, when was that? Was it last week, Saturday? Yeah, in the evening, a friend of mine was here with his wife. They were socializing, and then they started some table tipping sessions in there. My sister and her husband.
Oh, okay. Yes, I met you. She's so sweet.
And they were. There was another couple here, and they were hooking into their family members. And while they were there, he came out and he told his wife. She had never really done any investigations or connected with this before. She humors him with all of this. And anyhow, her father was presenting at the table and wanted to talk to his daughter. And he had been gone about 7 years. They were very close. And she then revealed to us that day was his birthday.
Ah.
So he was here wanting to talk to his daughter, and she was reluctant, had never done this before. And so we told her we'd get like a private session. So it'd just be a very small group of people that she knew. And so her father come through very strong, and we told her, how she didn't have to verbalize the question. She could ask him in her mind, and he'd answer her, which he did. And so it was a good session. So I followed up with her the next
I'm going to have to come back. I'm going to have to come back and do like a little seance there and bring spirits through.
Yeah. Well, I followed up with her to see, if she was okay and everything. And she said, actually, the day after, she felt quite invigorated. She felt most decidedly that it was her father she'd been communicating with. And her mother, who is still alive, she talked to her and, was just telling her expression. So it was a really good, positive first interaction with spirits of that degree. And for sort of a newbie or skeptic, she told me she really wouldn't doubt what we're getting, some of the interactions with spirits.
Yeah.
And stuff. And then Dave and Pam got those pictures from Friday night and Saturday night. Jeez.
That was crazy.
That was.
awesome evidence.
Yeah,
Nothing
I didn't see that coming, but wow, was it
Yeah.
nice.
You know what? I'm just picking up now, just realizing there's another gentleman there in the house.
Tonight, this evening.
No, that I feel like will be coming around or is already in the home. He's a tall fella. From a long time ago. The guy, I'm gonna say like 1800s. Because the way he's dressed very elegantly. I noticed something about like he walks around with a watch. Like how the 1800s.
The pocket watch?
Yeah, pocket watch. Keep showing me something with pocket watch. Something with papers too. Papers coming up. There's going to be papers found on this guy or found about the property. New stuff is going to come up. But you know what? They seem to be very peaceful spirits. Like nobody, there's no crazy, hauntings or demons or crazy stuff like that. It's very peaceful, but they're just residing with everyone. They're interacting. They're on a different level.
Yeah, we were down the day after. Kara was with Dave, you and I.
Yeah, Carol was there. Yeah.
And we were in the basement, and this is up from where those pictures had been taken, where Dave and Pam got the pictures. More in the center part of the basement.
Yeah.
There was a little girl there. And
Mm-hmm.
Kara had got impressed with the name. What was it? It started with an A. It's an old,
Like Ada or
an old
like
style
that.
name. Gosh,
Listen, I'm very leery.
that's good.
I gotta tell you, I'm very leery when people see children's spirit because children cross over immediately. They do not stay here. They're not earthbound.
No. This child wasn't earthbound. She'd crossed over and was coming back. Didn't know why she was coming back, but
I'm still leery of that. I've always been leery of children coming back. The only thing I would go with is residuals. But children cross
that's
over.
what she had. That's what she had made apparent to us through the EVPs was that she was there looking for her father, right?
That's right.
And I guess he was a patron of that bar that used to be in the basement.
Okay.
So.
And she was. We had the XCAM SLS running, and it mapped her out. And she was sitting. We've had a chair in between David and Kara, and I'm filming it. And she would sit in the chair, and she would reach out with encouragement for me and touch Kara's hand. And Kara, you could see,
she was getting emotional.
Yeah,
she was tearing up.
Kara was getting pretty emotional with it, and it was, we recorded all that with the XCAM. About 20-minute session, I guess.
Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting. That was a new one. That's the first
I can tell you from experience, children, spirits that you'll pick up that try to interact are usually not really a child. I just don't feel a child there.
Yeah, it's a lot of people say that when they, but then I don't know, we've had over the years, there's a couple, well, there's one in particular child spirit that's very attached to Dave and follows him all over the place. I mean, that's his girl, and she's actually helped him from a very malicious attack before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll get into the actual questions of the evening, and that you were, if I remember correctly, you said you were a child when you started noticing these abilities of yours?
Yes, I started seeing spirit when I was 4. It was actually my deceased father. My dad passed away when I was 2. My mom remarried when I was 4, and we moved into our new house. And one night I woke up and my dad appeared, And I started screaming, daddy's here, and everyone ran into the room. And then after that, I just kept seeing all different spirits that, used to live in the house, because it was a very old house. It was like 150 years old. So, and there's a lot of them were malicious too. I had really bad times with, spirits getting pinched, pushed, but I was able to see them. I could hear them. They started to torment me. And you know what it is, when you're a medium, they know that you can see them. There's something about our aura that's brighter in the other realms.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we shine a different type of light. That's why they're attracted to us. That's why we can bring them in. And so that's what happened. After, I always said, because my father came to see me, it's like he opened a portal for these other spirits to come in, because they saw that he was interacting with me. So these others came in, and I had a really bad one that like attached itself to me. And I'm really leery when people say about attachments, because it's very rare. But this thing, it followed me for years. I finally got rid of it when I met my husband, actually.
Wow.
Because it used to torment me. It used to come to me in my dreams too. Like, it would invade my dream space. I would dream of this thing, but it kept changing appearances. So in each dream, like, I would get away from it. And at one dream I had, like, the cops came to save me, because I called the cops. Somebody was, following me, whatever. And at the end, when I was waking up and I got, I'm saved, the thing took over the cop, and the cop looks at me like and smiled, and it was the thing. And I woke up and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to go into a dream tomorrow doing the same thing. But then one day it went after in a dream, it went after my husband, and I killed it, and I got rid of it. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. They were mimicking my mom's voice. And I'm sure you've heard this before, people that have, lived in haunted homes. They would hear the voices of a loved one.
Absolutely.
And they play games with you. And I was just a child. But
at that young age, if you weren't you didn't have the wherewithal to be afraid of this, or, I mean.
Oh yeah, I was afraid, but you know what? Also, I'm kind of stubborn, and I'm kind of a badass. I'm like, I'm defiant. I'm very defiant. I'm still defiant. Ask my husband.
This is true.
That's why I'm like, hey, don't you mess with me. I'm scared, but I'm going to fight you. No.
And how far along the line did you get before you realized that you had the power to use these special gifts to help others?
Well, first, let me tell you, going to school, when I was at school, I almost got skipped a grade because they thought I was a prodigy child and they knew things, because they would, the teacher would be asking questions and I would answer her. And it wasn't because I was smart, believe me. I failed history 4 years in a row in high school and barely graduated. But that's when I'm like, oh my God, this stuff is real. But then, now I'm in my teens, and I start dabbling, like I went for a psychic reading, and the psychic said, you could read. She gave me cards. I never knew how to read cards, but I play with them, and I can understand, I get feelings off of them. But, I always tell a story. One time I was at a bar. I'm old enough to drink. I think I was old enough to drink, but but I was sitting next to a girl, and all of a sudden I look at her and I said, "Who's Joe?" And she goes, "That's my boyfriend." And I'm like, I said, "Why do you let him hit you?" And she starts crying, and I'm like, "If you don't get away from this guy, he's going to kill you." Like, I could see this guy choking her. He used to choke her out. Like, this is what I was seeing.
Wow.
So, and that's how I'm like, hey, you know what? This really, I can zone in on it now. Like, I didn't realize I can control it.
Right.
Well, now that's how I do my readings now. Like, I just zone in on somebody. I zone in on their energy, and I could see what's going on around them. So it's crazy. Either, a loved one's coming in to tell me the information, or I'm just, I'm clairvoyant. So I just get the information. I know a lot of people talk about their guides and everything. I really don't see anyone. I hear it. I'll hear voices tell me things. I'll see it. I see it's like a movie. I'll see pictures, images, and some of it's like Sometimes, a couple times I've gotten things in cartoons, and in crayons, like a crayon drawing, because I had a father come through, and he hasn't seen his daughter since she was a child, and he was like giving me images in crayon. It was crazy. He explained to me.
No, but see, that makes sense because, Jim had lost his son very, very young age to SIDS.
Yeah.
So in Jim's mind, whenever he thinks of his son, it's this tiny little baby.
Yeah, he was 4 months old when we lost him.
Right. So later on, actually it was Lori Johnson, I believe, came up and told him that, your son is always with you.
Yeah.
And described him, and he's like, that's not my son. My son was 4 months old. She's like, no, he's presenting as he would be now.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was a grown man, and he never even stopped to think about it. I never did either.
Yeah.
So it's strange how they how they can choose to present themselves in a completely different image than you had in your head that you remembered.
Yeah, absolutely. I did a residential one time because they were, they had a lot of stuff going on. They had kids. So I'm on the phone with her, and I can see this thing. It was a woman, but she's like one of those creepy crawlers, like on all fours, backwards, like crawling around the house.
Yeah, I know that.
So I said, I'm not going to tell this poor woman until I get there because that's going to scare the shit out of me, So I get in there, and as soon as she opens the door, I just walk right in the house. I go right into the kitchen, and I'm looking at the wall, and I'm like, things are being knocked off the shelves. And she said, yeah. And I told her what I was seeing. I said, it's this creepy crawly woman. I said, are you here knocking on your living room floor and scratching? And she said, yes. I'm like, that's where it resides. So I'm doing a walk around the house. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. I was in the sun all day.
Right.
And in the pool, you know what chlorine does to you.
Yep.
Good thing I'm not singing tonight.
No, that's the second hour.
You have a second part. Stick around, guys. Doing a cabaret. So I go down. Oh no, I'm walking around the house, and I'm going into the master bedroom, and I walk in. And all of a sudden, this woman starts pushing me out. She's like, "Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out!" And she's telling me her name is I think it was like Camille or something. I said, "Who's Camille?" She goes, "That's my mom. She passed." I said, well, she's not letting anybody, not even me, in this room. She goes, well, we all sleep in this room because we're scared of what's going on. So I said, well, she's here to protect you guys.
Right.
I go down to the basement. I know this is where the thing resides. And I'm walking around, and I'm like, who's the fireman? Who's Brian? And she goes, turn around, and there's a fireman's outfit. Their friend Brian just passed away, who's a fireman. So now I'm walking around. I get a hold of this entity that's there, this woman, and she's really scary looking. I mean, I'm scared, but I can't tell anyone I'm scared. If the psychic's scared, we're all screwed.
Yeah. That's usually how it works.
But I was able to talk to her and communicate to her, and I brought her back into her human form. Now this is where we go. How you see how they let you see how they want you to see them. You know how in the Dead Files, Amy Allen talks about, and they sound creepy. They make themselves appear that way to scare us because they're scared. So she turned herself into this creepy, crawly woman, and I got her down to her earthly form. And she explained she used to live there. She had mental issues, and the husband had to put her away. And he wound up losing the house and everything. And she came back looking for him. So at the end, I was able to cross her over. So that's a good story. They're not always that good.
No, they absolutely are not. Absolutely.
And you guys have been on investigations.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dave seems to draw most of the malicious or mischievous ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. They focus on me, but for the longest time, we didn't. For the longest time when we first started investigating, we didn't understand that you can control how things go to an extent. So if you come in with respect, and if you come in with a positive energy, a lot of times that respect will be reciprocated. And they may not want you there, but they'll let you know in a more respectful manner than a shove or a pinch or a trip or anything like that.
Yeah.
And we didn't know that for the longest time. So basically,
Well,
whenever
you
we
these
went into a
newbies
place,
going, Demon, show me who you are. Attack me.
oh yeah, no. But for the longest time, like I said, we didn't know about that way. So when we would go into places that we were forewarned had, let's just say a rambunctious energy, then I would go in and just kind of make the blanket statement of, look, this is why we're here. If you intend to harm someone tonight, it's got to be me. Because I was younger, Jim was older, other part of our team were 2 females. So I figured I would just take the brunt of it so that they could do the actual investigation and get out of it what we could. And, if something needed to be done, a crossing over or a cleansing or anything like that, they could handle that, Yeah. And after a while, it just got to be too much.
But you know what I'm seeing a lot now? Like, and it's, because I'm seeing so many teams come out and, God bless everyone. I love this, how big paranormal has become. But there's so many people going in there with misinformation or doing things incorrectly, doing hearings incorrectly. I mean, I remember before even going to the Hidden Cell, most places I do remote viewing. So I usually go in where I don't know where I'm going. And I will talk to the group. Like I won't be involved in conversations until I'm ready to give them the information I'm picking up. And that was like the Hidden Cell house. Before going there, I gave them all my information. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know it was the Hidden Cell house.
Right.
And I gave them all the information, and it turned out to be all factual. But the one thing I said to them, I said, somebody did a spell or a cleansing, and they did it incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
So they got rid of the spirits that were in the house, and they're stuck on the property.
Mm-hmm.
They may be out of the house, but they're stuck on the property. So, that's why I'm seeing a lot of people doing, like they're saying they're in witchcraft, whatever. But you don't do it correctly if you're not powerful enough, if you don't have the education behind you on how to do this. You screw things up more, and you screw things up for yourself.
Yeah, and you're causing more harm than you are helping.
Absolutely.
Now, curious, in the structure of a location, do you find there's any kind of I'm sure it's quite varied, but in other words, what gives an entity power in any particular location in the house? Is it, obviously, if something horrible happens somewhere, I guess that provides a certain amount of energy at the scene. But barring that, just let's say a house has attracted some spirits, and like you mentioned that one earlier where it was centered in the basement, the energies. Was there something about the basement that gave it energy or attention, say, as opposed to somewhere else in the house?
Well, it's funny. Don't you always notice that they like to hide in dark spaces? That there's not a lot of human activity. That's why everyone's always, the spirits are always up in the attic where nobody goes. They're
basements, attics,
crawl spaces.
Closets. Closets are one. They love closets, especially for kids. They know what's going to scare them. They feed off this energy. But what also these bad ones, what they feed off of is that if there's other spirits, earthbounds in the house that aren't malicious, they feed off their energy. And they also take control over them. And they make them do their bidding, their work for them.
And that's why you get trying to say you're using a phasma box and you hear maybe a young woman's voice, and then you'll hear a gruff male voice come over top of it saying something effective, don't talk or step back or something. It's that alpha entity taking control and not wanting them to communicate.
I'm sorry, I'm reading some of my people on here. Hey guys, hey Nicole, hi Rachel. So that's what I'm saying. People have to be careful what they do. You know, another thing, and I have spoken to other people in the field that are well known with the sigils, setting up sigils in homes to activate spirits or control spirits. Not a good thing. Right. If you don't know what you're doing, don't mess with it. This is not fun and games,
Now, I think that the farthest we go, I think, is just making sure there's decent feng shui in the house. I think that's as far as we go.
Anybody can investigate, properly. It comes with a price, there's a chance of something happening, attachments are very rare. I knew somebody that used to claim an attachment every time we went on an investigation that I said, you know what, knock it off. That's it. I'm done. I left the group. I'm like, I'm not doing this because there's no attachment. They do it as attention seekers. I see a lot of attention seeking out there, Sometimes we could just go into investigation and learn from them. They just want to tell their story,
Absolutely.
Some aren't always earthbound. Some just come back because when we cross over, we can, go wherever we want.
Absolutely.
I'm going to Paris, Hawaii. I'm going on. But I'll tell you how when I connect with loved ones, what they show me is heaven is whatever you want it to be. What you're
right. Well, they say heaven is paradise, but everybody's paradise is different. My idea of paradise was completely different for yours.
Exactly. Like this one guy, I said, oh my God, this man, he's telling me he lived on a golf course and he's living on a golf course here in heaven. And this man, the lady's father, lived on a golf course, and that's what he was doing in heaven. He loved it.
Right.
And he was very happy.
Yeah, I think I'm going back to Jamaica. I guess where I'm going.
I like the Bahamas, so.
Well, I've never been there, so I can't say it's any.
I like the Bahamas? Well, not because it's so beautiful. I remember from my honeymoon, it just smells like jasmine, and I love that smell. See, and what I'm going to roll into is that I also have a strong sense of smell. But spirit smell. So I know, I could smell certain things. If I know something bad's around, it'll smell really bad to me. It's just like if somebody's BSing me, it smells bad. So another sense we can use psychically.
And
you guys did not smell bad. I just want to tell you that when I met you.
Well, I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you. I know there's a lot of psychic mediums who have talked to us and said, I've been to Gettysburg, I love it, but I make long periods of time between trips there because when I get there, I'm just inundated with all the voices and the pain and everything, and it takes a lot out of me. And then there's some that
the one girl who works with us directly, Janet.
Yeah,
it's very emotional for her every time.
You know what? I control it. We have complete control over things. Well,
that's what I was saying. There's a lot of other ones too that have said, I have the ability to hone in on this place that I want to be and block everything else out for the time I need to. So is that?
It doesn't even take. It's not like it doesn't take any effort really. It's like shutting down. Like when I'm done my readings during the day, I do readings every day. All day long. But when I'm done with my family, I'm mom, I'm wife.
Right.
I know which mode to go into. But then when I get when I do events or investigations, as soon as I think about it, as soon as it's all thought process, as soon as I think of something like my remote viewing, I will be there, just like I never wanted to go to Gettysburg because I just didn't want to see bloody soldiers because I see everything. When I do my readings, because I do medical, so I see everything in detail. It's not fun.
Yeah. I can.
Well, we have complete control over that, so.
Now, is that a skill you had to learn to be able to shut it out, or?
No, it's natural. That's why I'm baffled by when people say that, and I'm like, I'm curious to why they would say that because like a real medium, we just go, it's control. It's it's a thought process. It's only a thought process. Just like when I sit down in front of my computer and I do my readings, I go into mode. As soon as I sit in this chair, boop, I'm in my mode. I'm going to start reading. As soon as I get off the chair, that's as simple as that.
So it sounds like you're able to isolate yourself or insulate yourself to a high degree where you don't have the, say, emotional drain that.
I get drained, believe me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's investigations though. That's when I'm like going in and going in for the kill to like see what's going on.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, because I know there's been a few places where like I had to cancel like my whole week of readings because I was just exhausted. And one being that it was one of those soul collectors. He was messing with me.
Right.
They know when I'm coming. They know when I'm coming, and they let me know who's boss, and I back down, which I don't like to back down because I'm a strong Sicilian woman, and it pisses me off, but I do it for my family. I'm like, do what you got to do, dude. Go ahead. I'm not messing with you.
I know a lot of years. It's been a long time, probably close to 30 years now, but I'd gone up with a group. We did the Lizzie Borden house, and we had a psychic with us. And this was the first time she had been involved in a murder scene. And it really, it just really did a number on her. And a matter of fact, she was scheduled for like 2 or 3 weeks from that date. She was going to go out and do the O.J. Simpson murder scene out there in L.A. And she backed out because she just, from doing the old one, she was really quite afraid of how it.
Heavy duty. It takes me like 3 to 5 days, but I could still work. I just I want to clean myself. Clean out my energy, but I go every day. I'm like back-to-back readings. I'm going away next week, and I do events. I'll be in Virginia. I travel all over doing investigations. I just did. Where's Rachel? Rachel's here. We just did the Applewood Inn. They're from RTL Paranormal, and I did Flamiri Promotions, and that was hairy. It's funny. I had picked up so much stuff there on the way there remotely. As a matter of fact, I did it live. This is what I love to do. This is I love have me live and tell me where I'm going, and I don't know. And right there, I'll give you information. And right away, I started giving them information about the man that's in the house, how there's an exposed dirt in the house, and it was in the basement. I didn't know where I was going. But the crazy, and as I'm driving down there, I keep hearing Elton John. So I said, in my head, not on the radio, in my head. So I said, oh my God, this has got to mean something. Probably the guy's name is John. So, I'm telling Ray, and he's like, no, there's no John associated with the house. And I'm like, there's a reason why I keep hearing Elton John. Sure enough, they did a little further investigation. The guys that built the house, name was Elton. Yeah. So, but who has from back then the name Elton, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was such an odd name, but it's funny now. So now I didn't pick this up remotely on my way there. They said, all right, we're going to go out. We have guests. We're going to go into the garage. So I'm going, why the hell are we going in the garage? What's in the garage? So we start walking towards it. Now, mind you, this place is gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's, unassuming. You would have no idea that something was going on here. Going through this beautiful backyard, into this little small garage that looks like a little house. It looks so pretty. I'm about 2 feet. I get 2 feet away from this house, and I am stopped dead in my tracks like I hit a brick wall. And I hear, April, don't go in there. And I start to shake, and I'm like, I'm getting emotional. I'm like, I don't want to go in here. I'm so scared. I'm like, I know something bad's in here. And I go in there, and Kevin, Rachel's husband, goes to me. He goes, what are you picking up? And I said, there's somebody getting beat up, really getting beat out of them. And so we go inside, and then I start picking up the person. It's a female, and it's a young female, and she's getting beat up, and she's assaulted, sexually. And it's very emotional. And only to find out there was a 13-year-old girl that was raped there she was babysitting. She was raped by this male, the father. And it's funny, when I was in the house, I kept hearing the children, hearing children tell me that we're afraid of the father. When the father, he gets in a bad way and he fights with the mother, So, and it's funny, it was the garage incident. So this girl showed me what happened. I don't want to get graphic, but it was horrendous, and it was all verified. The whole thing is now, there is no record of this. So because at that time, this happened 73 years ago. There's no record because the records department or the building burnt down that year. So there's no record. Can't find it online. But the owners of this property had the information on it. So, that's why I said, I'm known for getting information that you can't find online. And that's exactly what I found here. Now, it's funny. Now, we go inside and they leave a body cam in there and an EVP recorder. And they capture a little girl screaming. Rachel, if you're with me, I think she was saying help. Or screaming, stop it. Stop it. And you hear a man go, do you like it like that?
Oh,
God.
I know. Isn't that creepy? And nobody's in there. This is caught on the body cam. So, yeah. So,
well, but see, I that happened to you the first time we were at Bel Air.
Yeah.
The first time we went to the Bel Air house, there was a building next door, and it was vacant, and it just had a bad energy to it. And the story was that the couple that lived there they had one biological son, and then they started adopting all these children from the state of Ohio. And the father was in the basement with these kids producing child pornography.
With the knowledge of his wife.
And his wife knew. And basically her job, when their biological son got older, her job was to run interference. And I guess around the age of 16, the biological son found out. And he went down into the basement and shot the father. The father did survive. The son went to jail for attempted murder. The parents went to jail for the child pornography. And when they got out, they moved into Pennsylvania. And because of loopholes between the state laws,
oh my God, they adopted more
children back.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord!
But because
and this still happens.
Yeah, but because at the time, the owner of the Bel Air house, Kristen, had access to it because she was cutting the lawn and doing maintenance outside. She was going to allow us to go over there. So it was Jim and I and two other gentlemen. And literally, as we're walking towards the front door of the Bel Air house to go outside to go over there.
Rachel's asking, is that in Ohio?
Yes, it is. Right on the Ohio River. Just as we head out the door, Jim stops and says, I can't go. And I mean, you were all gung-ho. What do you mean you can't go? Yeah. But tell her what you told us.
No, I in my case, it was like the Holy Spirit told me, you can't go over there and soil yourself. And I just listened. I said, I can't go. And I didn't have any regrets. I always listen to it when it tells me. And that's when Dave and the other, they had a time, they were over there for a time sequence, and we had our cell phones. And Dave wasn't there. In 15 minutes, he was violently ill.
Oh, my God. Hey, Dave, are you watching the comments?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then that's where he was actually having projectile vomiting as a result of being so ill. And we were even contemplating taking him to, one of those med centers just so he can
hydrate.
We hooked up with this little spirit upstairs, and it was like love and life. And she actually, after we finished our session, we said, our friend's downstairs and he's very sick. Can you go help him? And we saw these orbs go down the staircase, and he felt this little hand.
I felt a hand that couldn't have been more than that big from fingertip to palm, just like that. And after that, I felt fine.
He just was
it was like perfectly healthy.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yep. And then when we left at the end of that weekend, I went up to that room and specifically said goodbye to her.
Yeah, we all did.
And we teared up. It was like I was leaving one of my little girls behind, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she's like my fourth daughter.
I know you're a good daddy. You had your girls there when I was there. That was so cute.
Yeah.
Rachel's saying crazy stuff happened in the seance room. Wait, where was the seance room? Wait. Oh, wait, are you talking about the Bel Air?
In the Bel Air house, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've never been there.
Oh,
you know what? I
love it.
There's a lot.
You know what? I worked by myself. Like, you know, I used to do, people call me up to come to their homes. So I was doing like, you know, like Ed and Lorraine Warren, except I was by myself. And then one day I said to myself, you know what, April? I think you should bring other people with you. Because in case something does happen, I'm like, you know, who's going to help me?
Absolutely.
You know, what if I, you know, pass out or something? You know, I'm pretty tough, you know.
Yeah, and some of these locations are dangerous. You know, some of the jails and that structurally, yeah, man. Mansfield had yellow tape everywhere that you could fall in the pit.
Yeah. Wait, where am I going? Oh, I'm going to be in Waverly Hills August 9th. So I'm very excited about that.
Oh, another one gets to go to Waverly, and I haven't been there yet.
You know, we planned this like a year ago.
Yeah.
It was planned out. So
we're trying to plan a road trip where we're going to hit Waverly Hills, Bobby Mackey's, and the Benton Family Farms.
Yeah.
On a week.
Let me tell you something. You can take me anywhere, and I will find spirits. So I always said that, you know, like it doesn't matter where you go, even though like now these places are Victorian.
Steve said you found him. Wink, wink. Yeah, but I mean, spirits they are all around you. Always. It's just, unfortunately, people like myself are very dense. I can't pick up on any of it. So let's put this up real quick. Sheila says, when I go to Gettysburg to walk the fields, I ask the spirits that are trying to get my attention with me to remember the good times and happy moments in their lives, not to bring bad memories.
I don't think they do want their story told. It's not that it's like, of course it's a bad memory, but they want their story told. I'll tell you, because probably 100% of my readings, the spirits that come through, they just want their story told. First, you know, when I do readings, they'll come through and tell me the tragedy or what have you that happened to them leading up to this. You know, tell me about they show me their operations, everything, what happened to them. And then they bring me over to now their crossover in heaven and how they're watching everything go on here. And, you know, but they do want their story told. They do want their story told. It's not that, of course, they want happy memories for us. And they're fine. You know, once you cross over to heaven, everything's gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is beautiful, but they do want their stories told. They want to be. We all want to be remembered. I mean, hey, Jim, you want to be remembered when we pass on. What legacy do you want to leave? Especially for your little girls. You know, everybody wants a story. And you know what's funny? Like everyone has a great story. You know. Yeah.
Well, and everybody's story is different. You know.
And these soldiers, they were very proud to fight. You know, and what they went through. And it was horrific, but they want their story told. They want to be remembered. Everyone wants to be remembered. It's just like when people pass, prayers and speaking their names and talking about them elevates them higher. It gives, you know, it's like sending prayers up to them.
Now, do you think in the case of, say, those soldiers of, say, the Civil War, do you think in their case there's any of them who are not aware of the passing of time? So their message may be, you know, tell my wife I fought hard, or tell my mother I miss her, and that type of thing, not knowing that it's 160 plus years later.
Yeah. Some of them, they become earthbound and they don't know how to get back.
Right.
You know, it's up to people like me. We can help them. Well, and, you know, we can all help them. You know, I just can see them. I can hear them. And I can open that portal to, you know, to to the light. Like, it's incredible to see, like, when you do this, open this portal for them to go with their loved ones. It's the brightest light you'll ever see.
I've seen it once.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
I happened to be lucky enough to be at a location when Haley, who is one of the psychics on our team, was crossing over a family of runaway slaves.
Mm-hmm.
And we worked on them for months to gain their trust, because here's three white people, and they're runaway slaves hiding from the South. So it took us months to gain their trust enough. And then it just so happened that the night that it was just Haley and I, it was a mother, her young child, her baby, and a male, but the male wasn't part of their family, but he was like I guess a fatherly figure and a protector. And she was allowed to cross, he allowed them to cross them over. And that's one of the most spectacular things I've ever seen, ever in my life. It was literally, you see on the TV shows when people are getting abducted by aliens, that beam of light that comes. That's what I saw.
Yeah. It's
and
crazy.
They just walked into it, and it was amazing.
Yeah. You know what I do? It's funny. It's like when I do that, when I open that portal, I push them in. It's and they get, as soon as I get them close enough, it's like they get sucked right in.
Right.
So it's crazy, but it's beautiful at the same time. And some don't want to cross.
Yeah, I've always been curious about why that would be.
They're confused, and no matter how much I talk to them, they're stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
I might be the same way. I tell my daughter, if I die, I'm not leaving her. I'm staying here.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay with her.
Now, of all the places you've gone, what is the one that I guess hit you a little more than you thought it would, energy-wise? Like you didn't expect it to be as powerful energy-wise as it was?
Energy as
because I know for Jim and I, it was Hinsdale House.
Okay, you know what? Hinsdale House, I'm going to tell you, like, this is how, which I love. The Hinsdale House, it's the energy. It's in the land. It's in the house. It's in the walls.
Yeah.
It's not so much that there's an entity there. Like I was able to communicate with this entity before going there.
Okay.
So I did the same thing with the Conjuring House. I investigated that with my friends, and Carl Johnson was with me, and his brother Keith, who verified all the information that I had picked up prior to going to there. It's these soul collectors, I like to call. Some of them, they just really knock me for a loop because they fight me.
Right.
They when I go there, they let me, and they only let themselves known to, you have to be a medium, and that's who they're going to deal with. Like when I walk in there, they knew, like, the HBIC, they knew to go to me. So,
right.
They were warning me and trying to scare me and make me feel a little ill. But I got to tell you, just recently going to the Applewood kind of knocked me for a loop, because seeing that was horrendous, to see what happened to this little girl.
Oh yeah, I don't.
Now wait,
it's times like that, I'm glad I don't have those abilities,
But I'm going to throw you a little curveball. This woman's still alive. She's 91 or 93 years old. But you see how I can pick up that energy? You see how energy stays? And I was able to
you were picking up that residual energy.
Yeah, I could still communicate. Like I've done readings where loved ones were in comas, was in a coma, and I can communicate with them because they're halfway there.
Right.
Just like her, I was still getting information. See how time transcends. Like this little girl's energy that's still there. I was communicating with that little girl's energy in the place. Right. Even though she's a grown, an older woman now and still alive. That's how crazy it is. And I said, that's probably why I was not picking it up on the way there, because this woman's still alive. Not until I got into the place where the energy was. was
Right.
able to. That's why, because I was like, why? That's why I was baffled by why are we going into the garage? Why are we going there? I would have picked this up because she's still alive. I had to go in there to feel the energy, to see the energy.
Huh. That's pretty fascinating, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Well, all right, we're going to take just a really quick commercial break, and then we'll be back on the other side for the second hour. So anybody needs to use the restroom or grab a drink or whatever, here's your
What do
chance.
we have? Are we on break?
Just a minute. There we go.
Okay, I'll be right back.
WLFE Digital Network is now on digital television. If you're into ghosts, Bigfoot, UFOs, and the creepy, then WLFE has a TV channel for you, Paranormal View. Watch all of your favorite WLFE video talk shows on one channel. Shows like Paratalk Radio, Step into the Paranormal, Skeptical Help Bar, The Creepy Parlor, and more. Looking for something else? Do you support the LGBTQ plus community? WLFE has brought all of their LGBTQ shows like Inside the Drag Closet, Everything Yet Nothing, Across the Pond, and Rainbow Soul all into one place. A new TV channel called LGBTQ Friends. The third channel is a Variety Unlimited. Here you'll find a wide variety of talk shows you know and love, like Just Cindy, Card Pulls and Coffee, Real Talk with Nom, The Bipolar DMs, Meet the Author, and Movie Review 5. The best part of watching these shows is that they're all available to watch at one location, one website, WLFE-DB.com.
You are listening to WLFE-DBRadio.com, where our shows are your shows.
Listen to the WLFE-DB podcast, available on Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Check out shows like Paratalk Radio, Inside the Drag Closet, and Step into the Paranormal. Now, on to your favorite podcast app.
This is Dominic Santasero with Real Talk with Dom. You are listening to WLFE-DBRadio.com, where our shows are your shows.
Hey guys and dolls, this is Casey DeVille, the better half of DeVille Inc., Baltimore, Maryland. If you're ever in Baltimore, stop in and see me and Tony. Invisible Bree, 5920 Eastern Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21224. Give us a call if you're in the area, 410-400-9641, or look us up on the web at DeVilleInc.com. DeVille Inc., where we specialize in you.
Oh yeah, life just got sweeter now that WLFE-DB has merchandise. Show your support by purchasing your t-shirts for WLFE, Paratalk Radio, Inside the Drag Closet, and more. But it doesn't stop there. T-shirts, coffee mugs, tanks, buttons, cloth bags, and more. Go to WLFE-DB.com. On the top bar, click on the merchandise tab and bam, there you go. You got merch. Support the shows. WLFE-DB.com.
You're listening to WLFE DB Radio. Now, back to our program.
All right, and we are back.
We are back.
We are. My daughter wants to join the show and have a talk with you, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. I'm just reading that.
All right, this is my oldest. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Bronwyn.
Hi, Bronwyn. How are you?
I'm good.
She's our investigator in training. She has a T-shirt stating such.
And she's also very sensitive. And she also, you're going to be very gifted with your hands with feeling stuff. weird, like almost. You know how you see some psychics will read with their hands.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I feel like something coming from my hands with you. Oh, sorry.
That's pretty neat.
Have you, when you're on investigation, do they play with your hair? I almost feel like, have you ever had your hair touched? I almost feel like a woman around you. I'm sorry, I just knocked something over.
I don't think I've ever felt it. No, not really. No.
You're going to have an incident with your hair. You have to let me know.
Mm-hmm.
We were laughing one time. I think one of her first investigations, she was with Pam and Steve at
The Jenny Wade
the
house?
Jenny Wade house. On the eve of her the day she was killed. And anyhow, she kept asking, how many loaves of bread did you bake? She must have asked it 4 or 5 times. And I was really expecting an EVP. What's with the damn bread?
What did you get? Did you get anything?
I don't know.
You know what? Seriously, I think it wasn't immediate, but down the line, I swear I heard something like 3 loaves or something.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
I bet she was probably like 3 loaves. No, stop. Enough with the bread, please. I beg of you.
We still kid her about that, but she's doing real well. She
Wait, let me see. Somebody says here, Jackson Lee Olson says, "Who's that?" She's very.
That's actually my sister. She goes under her dog's pseudonym.
Okay, you just outed her. Sorry about that. No, she said she's very artistic, and let me tell you something. Psychics always have another ability where it's going to be an artistic ability. Like I'm an artist. I paint, I draw, or they'll have a music ability, but psychics always have some other ability.
Yeah, I'm really good at art. I painted a painting for the rose bedroom with watercolors. It was really good, actually. And I don't know if they hung it up yet or not, but they will.
Where are you guys at? You're not in the Hoover House, right?
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
I got tell Pam I gotta send her a picture of me and Dave Schrader for the Holtzer room.
Oh, okay.
But I think ever since we came here, that's when it started to happen mostly. I think I did have an encounter when I was 6 at my own house. I was sleeping in my room at the time, and I woke up at 12 a.m. for no reason. I think it was. I think it was 12 a.m. And I look up from my bed, and I see this. It looked like a man, and it was standing in my doorway. Wasn't moving, wasn't talking. It was just staring at me. And I'm like, oh, it's just Dad.
In the doorway. They just love doing that.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's just Dad. Then, a couple years later, I asked if it was him, and he's like, no, that was not me. So I was very weirded out by it. I'm like, oh.
It's funny. I see a female around you, but in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
This is could be a guide.
Yeah.
I feel her around you.
Well, my back on Mother's Day, she was going in that Monday after Mother's Day for a surgical procedure. She was having a tonsil surgery, and she was very nervous about it and really upset about it.
Well, it's funny. Before you said, because I felt like she was going around your neck. That's why I was like, I'm looking down, because she was showing me I'm rubbing your back of your neck in the front, rubbing your shoulders to not make you nervous.
Yeah.
Well,
she'll be around you when you need her.
She we did a table tipping session that afternoon, and my sister, who you met, was here.
Yeah.
And her oldest boy was also here from Chicago, and he's been having a rough time. So anyhow, my mother came through that afternoon on Mother's Day, not to see me or my sister, but to see her granddaughter and great-granddaughter, her grandson and great-granddaughter.
What spiritually?
Yeah, and basically to just comfort them, let Bronwyn know she'd be around her for the surgery and the things would go well. And then also she revealed to my nephew when she is around him and the scent, and he knew right away what the scent was. It was mothballs. He doesn't have any mothballs in his house, but he'll smell them. And basically it's his grandmother coming around, just to lend support. So she was much better and much relieved by that. For the surgery went well.
Before my surgery even happened, I felt like a chill right next to me. I was in like the armchair and stuff, getting like my little shot in my hand.
Yeah.
And I felt like a breeze by me. I'm like, whoa, what was that?
Yeah.
And remember when you said that like she comes around when I feel very nervous and stuff? I'm like pretty nervous right now. I'm fidgeting with like my clothes and stuff. That's because that is what I do when I'm nervous. So
yeah, she'll come around you. She's your protector. We all have a protector guide. Like that's part of, like, because everyone else talks about their guides. I don't have any guides. I just get the information, but I do have one protector guide that comes around me. And I want to tell you a little story with her, and this is what yours will do with you. I was driving. Now this is probably about 25 years ago. I'm driving, and all of a sudden I feel her hand on my leg, and I said, "Oh, I know what." And she just started coming around. I said, "I know what that means." And I took my foot off the gas, and as I slowed down, a car had come out at that moment. If I was still at that same speed, I would have been T-boned, probably dead.
Wow.
They let us know. There's these little subtle hints, but we have to be open to it and aware. What the hell is going on there? No.
I remember we were doing a table tipping session one time, and I asked one of the spirits if they could bring like my dead cat Mittens to the house, and they said yes. And then like a couple of minutes after they said that, I heard like a meow, like right out in the hallway by the door, and I heard it. I'm like,
oh, that's crazy. Oh my God.
So I actually have a question for you.
Wait, can I ask you, who hurt their hands? Somebody's got to be careful with their hands or something with their hands.
Well, I know my mother's had hand surgeries for arthritis in her thumb joints.
Okay. Was it recent?
No, these were a few years
back.
This
is somebody's got to be careful with their hands. I mean, nothing serious.
Within the past week, I was under the porch here, and I was
blood clot now, or a blood thing.
No, I was doing some electrical work, and I got popped with 120 volts. Right in the thumb.
Be careful. Dave, have to be careful with your hands, because I keep seeing like, when you get. I know my husband he's a mechanic, gets those little blood blister things.
Yeah.
That's I keep saying like we're hands. You got to be careful with your hands.
Okay.
You don't freaking pay attention.
I've not been known for doing that very often, but so when you've been asked to remote view a location for a specific investigative team, has there ever come a time where you've remoted in and reported back to that team that it was something so dangerous that you would advise them not to go?
I haven't had that happen yet. Just I know the guy, I had told him, be careful because I see you being pushed, and they were pushed. I said, I want you to be careful in the stairs because that's where they're going to get you. But nothing so seriously. Nothing bad. I'm trying to think. I usually I protect like the teams that I'm working with too, and I'll do that remotely, but they usually go after me.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, here's another one.
I know. When I do my live readings on Paranormal Warehouse, I put the crazies too.
Blocked.
Well, it's
It's
you
crazy
know,
night.
they're all out there. They have nothing better to do with their time, I guess.
That's okay. It's probably
What are you
kids
gonna do?
doing it.
I remember I was here by myself one time because Dad was at Ace, I think, getting like stuff for the new ice machine or whatever. So I was by myself at the time. I like being here by myself. I think it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I don't feel anything bad there.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
all positive. Nothing's
Yeah.
bad. Nothing bad has happened to me. And I was behind the bar, and I look over in the doorway to the bar, and I see someone like peeking their head in. It startled me. I'm like, whoa.
Now, what did it feel? Did it feel like female or male?
Male.
Okay.
And I think later on in a table tipping session, it was revealed that it was like Ira who was just like checking in on the place or something.
Okay, because I keep seeing a man, very tall man in a suit, well-to-do. I almost feel like I'm talking a lot. I'm talking to a group of people. I would have people at the house, like in the living room, where I'm talking, getting my point across, or telling politics or something. Who this man is, he's not bad at all.
Mm-hmm.
He sounds very self-important.
Yeah, from what we've found through the research, Ira Hoover in his time was a pretty influential man in the community.
Oh, all right, that makes sense. All right, because I feel like I'm talking. I don't know if I'm talking politics. I'm very important, and what I have to say, and people listen to me while I talk.
Yeah, it's like E.F. Hutton. When he talks, people listen.
Yeah. I also like this person. I know something with the watch. There's like a dent in it or something, and I almost want to say, I feel like he tells this story, and I think it's a fib to make himself look like almost like if a bullet hit it or I got shot or something with a bullet.
Okay.
But it's not true. It's not true, or it's just, it got handed down that, this is his story, and, people ran with it, and he ran with it.
Gotcha. Something to make himself seem a little more grandiose.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So, because I see him doing this, he liked to feel important. He liked to talk a lot. He loved people listening to him, and they listened because he was very well spoken.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think it was maybe a couple months ago now that while we were here one night, Jim had used a technique that a man at a mineral and crystal show had done for him and opened up her third eye. So she has been working at picking up on things.
I'm going to tell you, it doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
A crystal's not going to make it happen. It takes years, and you have to keep doing it. And the key to it is meditation, because being a psychic is mind. It's all with our mind.
Colette said, Dave, does your daughter think that her spiritual guide is her great-grandmother? Possibly, yes. I think it's her.
That would be my father's mother then. Wouldn't be my mom.
I don't think it's a great-grandmother.
Okay.
Yeah. But it is female. It is family, and it is female.
Okay.
It is, but she will take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
And she is going to be the one to work with you, open up your third eye.
I'm really good on like sensing spirits, and how I can sense them is I will start staring at like one room or one place for a long amount of time, and I'm like, and that's how I know someone's there.
Like a dog?
Human or whatever.
No, but I mean like a dog does. When they know something's there, they'll just stare at that space.
You have to use your senses and feel what you're seeing, because it's not actually seeing, you're seeing, you're smelling, you're hearing. Like I feel colors, I feel the images that they're giving to me. Even just when, well, sometimes I do hear real voices. It's crazy as heck.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. I hate it.
And I've been telling her though that she's got to trust her gut instinct more often.
Yeah.
If you think you saw something, or felt something, or heard something, or picked up on something, let us know. Don't keep it in. You've got to.
Yeah, I've always been good on that, pretty much. I remember
with that, and I'm going to tell you, meditation is key. And everyone says, "Well, how do you meditate?" Believe me, I have. My mind is constantly going. Sometimes it'll take 15 minutes to go into a meditation, but that's the key: is to meditate all the time, because that makes the connection with the other side.
Mm-hmm. We were in the laundry room, me and Miss Pam, because we were folding beds together and stuff for like the people who were staying there that night. And on my way out of the laundry room, I passed by the fire exit, and I swore I saw someone like in the fire exit, like as almost if he was trying to go, like come out of the fire exit, I think.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Oh, I know what you're talking about. You know what? I felt something there too. There's definitely something over there.
Yeah, Miss Pam was like, well, people said that they see people in there all the time.
So. There is such a strong energy over there. I couldn't really pick it because I was starting to hone in on it, and everyone came around and started asking me questions, but I was like, man, like I said, something is over here. Like it's there had to be a fire there too.
Mm-hmm.
There had to, and I'm not saying like in that particular area, but as soon as I saw that I could smell smoke, I know there was an incident there. May not have been major, but I smell smoke.
No, there was.
Oh, there was.
Since we've had it, there was, yes.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I kept smelling the smoke. It was weird. Some of the rooms had different energy. It's like when you walking through each room was different.
Yes.
I'm trying to think where was the craziest one. Yeah, I think the strongest I felt when I was by that fire escape. That's funny you picked up on that, Rowan. That's because I kind of like did like I got stopped in my tracks there. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? There's something going on here. And Pam, the way it's built, it had to be something else, or.
Now I know that you do readings for your clients pretty much daily.
Yeah.
So how much time do you allot yourself to go out on an actual investigation? Like, do you say, okay, this month I'm going to allow myself 2 days or a weekend, or just as it comes?
I push myself to the brink, man. I'm constantly, I read every day, and then I'm doing investigations every weekend, plus, with Flamiri, I'm always at events like,
right.
with, Mustafa, let's see what's going on. As a matter of fact, the 26th, I'll be with Chris Sutton.
Okay.
At the Berkeley Plantation, which I investigated before with Mustafa.
Okay.
This is crazy. Crazy. Oh my God. Not crazy, scary, like, but a little bit, but the information I was getting was like spot on. But I'm with a group of people. I'm sorry. I'm going to bounce all over the place. I'm crazy.
Right.
We're with the guests and everything. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, all right, a man just walked in. He really doesn't like us here because this, he's a worker and he plays with this little boy there. So it's funny now. The door opens up. The door opens up by itself, and it locks. Again, Rachel was there. The door's locked, like when you close the door and it click, like the little thing goes into the hole. It's closed. It opened up, and then closed by itself.
Right as Dad finished talking, and then you started talking, I swear I saw someone pass by him. It looked like they were in a rush or something, like they were running or something.
Maybe about the fire, because we were talking about it.
Yeah, because I see something pass by. I'm like, what?
I'm telling you, the spirits, the more you guys engage with the spirits, the more you're activating them. But it's also going to open up other things. So be prepared.
Well, the thing that I keep trying to press on, especially with Jim, is we need to do more actual investigation.
Excuse me.
I know we get a lot of information with table tipping,
Yeah.
but I want to run more actual investigation so that they become accustomed to our other equipment, and they're the more accustomed they become to the other equipment, then the more often they'll want to communicate with us through that equipment.
Yeah. I mean, I love EVP. I like just good old fashioned ghost hunting, with the basics, not all with all the fancy equipment that could be manipulated, because some things can be manipulated.
Yeah.
I was a little leery on some of these ITC boxes, spirit boxes, where it builds up a library of words.
Right.
I'm like, no.
On the first day of getting into here and stuff, Miss Pam was like, "Hey, can you take the extra chairs and stuff down in the basement just to store them?" So I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." And so I was down in the basement and I suddenly stopped. I looked over to one of the back rooms or whatever, to my left, and I'm like, someone is in there, and I know someone's in there.
Yeah.
And I just moved on with them, someone's in there, whatever.
Yeah, you got to start now. What you need to start doing is interacting. What do you feel? Is it a male or a female? What type of energy is it? How did they die? What do they look like? Do they have a message? Start challenging yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because they want to talk.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, from what I'm like, it feels like it's a male or whatever, and he's just I'm just guarding the basement. You're fine. I always make sure to say, whenever I go down the basement, I always say hi to the spirits down there, because I know there's spirits down there.
That's
so
what Pam. That's about Pam. Pam is so respectful of the spirits.
Yeah, absolutely.
I go in there challenging, Raymond, tell me your name.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I remember years ago we went to Rolling Hills Asylum, and I mean we had a lot of good activity, but all the spirits there seemed to be highly agitated.
Yeah,
and we didn't find out.
They were people too. They were human too.
Oh yeah, but here's why: we didn't find out till afterwards that the Ghost Adventures had been in there the weekend before us.
Oh,
and
no,
of course, they do a lot of provoking, which of course. So even down the one hallway and near the basement of that place, there's the spirit of a giant. His name was Roy.
Yeah.
And back in his time, if you were exceptionally tall, over 7 foot, that was considered freakish. And
is this a fact though? I personally, I love facts. I don't like hearsay. I like facts. That's that's what. Even though I do this, I love the science behind it, and that's why I love the ghost hunters. Mustafa, Daryl, Brandon Alvis, who is my idol, because he looks at and he loves this stuff and he believes in it, but he looks at it from a scientific point of view, and the equipment that he uses, and he agrees with me too. With the some of these spirit boxes of BS, it's a waste of money.
And see, and I'm much along that ilk as well. I am not what you would call a spiritual man.
Yeah.
Where Jim comes at it from a religious, spiritual base. Mine is based in science, and I learned very early in high school.
Can I tell you something? I'm not that spiritual. You don't have to be You don't have to be spiritual to be a psychic.
No.
Or a psychic. You don't have to dress weird. You don't have to wear black weird clothes to be a psychic. Just a psychic is just your.
But I mean, I learned very early in high school. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just changes forms.
Exactly.
So when this shell is done, the energy that it runs it has to go somewhere.
Absolutely.
And I firmly believe that that is what we pick up on.
Yeah. And there's no time. That's what, there's no time frame. That's
Right.
It's weird. Now you see how I told you that story about that girl that was assaulted.
Right.
She's still alive, and yet I was yet to connect with her.
Right.
And we picked up, and then we had the signs behind it with with picking up the EVPs. That
Absolutely.
I wish I would have told them to the guys to get the EVPs for me, so I could have played that for you. It's crazy, that backs up the story I was telling, and it's horrific.
So when I told you that I sense spirits and stuff, I remember when I kept staring at my closet for the longest time. I'm like, there's someone in my closet. So I didn't know who it was, and then in another table tipping session later on, it was revealed that it was my great grandfather. He just watches over us basically, and he's just in my closet. So yeah.
Okay. I always think that the family members will stay with us and help us. They'll pop in and out. Go back to heaven, come over here.
But it's
flight over to France.
they can tell when they're needed, and that's when they
exactly.
Show.
It's just all right. When I do readings, it's not. Sometimes I'll do a reading and I'm bringing in family members that's who they weren't there for. But you know what?
Mm-hmm.
They got to speak first. But you know what? I can bring them through. Oh yeah. No, we could have sent it up. Yeah. To hear the EVPs. It's crazy. To coincide with what I was picking up and then getting these EVPs, it was crazy.
Absolutely.
This is a great team, RTL Paranormal. I love them.
Well, it's not like you won't be back here another time, so.
Oh my God, I know. That's why I said I didn't get to say, but I'm I'll be back. I love you guys. It's like family, Pam and Steve, family.
Absolutely.
They had me at the other place. It's funny. The old place that they had, right?
Yes.
I go. I did readings at at their store, Gettysburg, Ghost Exchange.
Yep.
So, and I was gonna stay. I'm staying at their place that night, and I'm driving. I'm like, oh. I knew what I was in store for. There's a man because there was a man there with me, and he's telling me he stares at me. He stares at people. I hate that. It creeps me out being stared at. So I tell Pam this. She's laughing. She's not saying a word to me. So now we get to the house. We're gonna go to bed. We walk up. She goes, "Where's the man?" And I turn to the room and I said, "He's right there." But wait. So I said, "I'm gonna sleep in this room." So that room shares a bathroom. Do you know I kept feeling that man trying to come in, and I'm actually psychically fighting him to keep him away from me,
right?
Just blocking him from coming. But he fought me. So I had all the lights. They made fun of me. I had all the lights on. I had my laptop on, watching Sex in the City. Just because I was so scared. I get scared. I don't want to. It's scary to be woken up like that. This thing kept walking around the bed. It would drop things, make noises. Now, mind you, I had the lights on all night. So I get up, I don't know, it's maybe 5 a.m. I go to the bathroom, I come out, and all the lights are off. Oh, now wait. Now I'm just thinking, this is funny. Now this is the funny part. I got to tell you the other story with Applewood, with that woman, that energy, the woman that's still alive, right?
Yes.
I'm so creeped out now. I want to go because I moved downstairs and I kept seeing a shadow figure. So I'm like, you know what? I, after hearing that story, it really bothered me so much being a mom and everything. I just wanted to get the hell out of there. So I book a room down the block. I'm supposed to stay here. I'm staying here by myself. So Rachel, we go up to my room. We pack up all my stuff, put it in the car. We shut the lights off because we have to shut the lights off and shut the air off and everything. We get downstairs. We look up. The light goes on. Then when the team member sees a shadow figure walk past, I'm like, I am going to. I drive to this other hotel. Unfortunately, this hotel looked like a crack den. So I go, oh my God, I have to go back to this house by myself.
Right.
I went back there. I stayed there. I kept hearing banging all night. But now I'm in this house by myself. I heard banging above me, which we interacted with spirits up there, and I kept hearing somebody outside the door, like scuffling outside the door all night.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh my God. So.
Yeah, I know what that's like. We went and did an investigation at a place in Uniontown, Pennsylvania called the Keeley Mansion. And it's owned by a guy named Adam, who actually used to be on Paranormal State with Katrina Weidman and them, and Adam Sedlock. And the other group that was there with us, they went and stayed at a hotel, and Jim and I slept there. And I want to say maybe about 4 or 5 in the morning, we heard a crash that was so loud we thought someone had driven a car through the front entrance of the building. I mean, it woke us both up, and we checked that place, not a thing out of place.
Yeah.
Very, very loud though. He was like, "You going back to bed?" I'm like, "Yeah, not so much. Not so much.
No.
I'm good for going to get breakfast now."
It was like after one of my soccer games that I used to play. And it was like after one of the games that I had, and I'm like begging Mom to let me go back to the house because I'm tired. I'm like, please just let me go back and get some sleep. And so after like constant begging, she's like, fine, go back to the house. So she drops me off, and then she leaves. And so I'm like, oh, I have to use the bathroom. And I'm using the bathroom, and I hear 3 knocks on the door. I'm like, wait your turn. And then that's when it kicked in. I'm like, wait, I'm by myself. And Mom, before, she's like, if you have any problems, go to your great-grandmother's. You know the drill. So I'm like sprinting out the door to my great-grandmother's because I was so freaked out by it. I'm like, nope.
You need training.
Hi, Leanne. My friend Leanne's here. Leanne, she works at Waverly Hills.
Oh, you know that? Her
So
friend Leanne works at Waverly Hills, which is where she's going to be going.
yeah. So we'll be together. I can't wait. I know. I'm so excited for that place. There's another place there. They were. Hi, Michael, Sarah. How are you? There's another place. Jesus, what is it? Leanne, do you know what I'm talking about? You and Animal and everyone went. That jail. Oh, God.
Well, there's a lot of jails. You got Brushy Mountain State.
That's it, Brushy Mountain State. That's where they went. They had crazy experience there.
Yeah, I heard that place was pretty off the chart.
Leanne, her husband Todd, my friend Denise and Ernie Pack, they have, Brush Mountain, have such a connection. These people have such a connection to Waverly. It's like they, almost like a past life or something, or the spirits love working with them.
Right. Yeah, Ohio State Reformatory is fantastic. Absolutely. We did Mansfield the first time. My brother.
Is that the place where they have the sigils up?
That's where they filmed Shawshank Redemption.
Okay. And I think Ghost Hunters was there too. Daryl, Mustafa, Brandon, Michelle, and Brian. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And my brother, who has prefaced this by saying, my oldest brother, at his largest was 6'7", 375 pounds. So he is a very, very large man. But he scares quicker than her. And he just, yeah. He didn't watch The Exorcist by himself at night.
We can't have him in on an investigation.
So we got him to go with us. And he and I were in the shower room in one of the cell blocks. And we got an EVP that says protect Jim.
Oh my gosh.
And so later in the evening, him and I split up, went different ways, and he was with Jim. And they were up on the 3rd tier of the side of the prison that was the real nasty side. And out of nowhere, Jim just goes like something had shoved him to fall down the stairs. And my brother had to reach out and grab him. And he said, well, it's a good thing you were here. I'd have went down those stairs. My brother's like, well, I had to be here. They told us for me to protect you.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, that place is really active, really active.
Wait, now what's your brother's name?
My oldest brother?
Yeah, the one that's scared?
His real name is Abner.
Okay.
But he goes by Butch.
Butch, okay. Oh my God, that's what my real father's name was. Butch?
Yep, he is Abner Leighton Haney III.
Very fancy.
Yeah.
Is he the one that has the problems with the stomach?
He has, yeah, but both my parents had diverticulosis.
All right,
they both had bowel resection.
Yeah, because
so he's got it. Yeah.
Your brother's got to watch his stomach. He's got to watch
Yeah.
his stomach. Yeah, he's definitely going to watch the intestines. It's going to become an issue for him as he gets older. So, I mean, nothing serious. Nothing bad's going to happen to you. But I'm just saying, I'm seeing there's issues with his stomach. But nothing bad. Yeah, he's got the nervous stomach. So, yeah, he has to be careful. It's almost like he can't leave. Like, he's got to be careful where he goes. He's got to,
Oh yeah, he like I said, he gets that from my mother. She's had so many bowel resections that.
That's how I feel. Like, can I tell you something? I see like there'll be surgery for your brother in the future. Nothing serious. He's going to be fine.
Right.
Not to learn, but he'll just be prepared for that. You have to watch your legs and your hips.
Yep.
That's I see the issue for you.
Yeah.
And it's just the way you're built.
Yeah, it is. I've taken to now because I'm a side sleeper.
Okay.
And I have my one leg is straight and my other leg is kind of up like this.
I do the same thing, and guess what? I have problems with my hips.
Right. So what I've taken to doing is putting a pillow right around my waist, so my leg that's up, the knee is on it, and it keeps my other leg straight instead of angled down all the time.
Okay, with you, you're gonna need to watch your joints. So the ball joints, that's what you have to watch. So I think you're gonna have to take I don't know if it's fish oil. What would something that's gonna keep that lubricated? That's why you're gonna have issues with it. It's gonna get bone on bone. So you'll have problems with the hips and your legs, where I'm gonna feel sharp pains down my legs. Yeah. So just to be careful of that. Nothing serious. If that's the worst thing that can happen to you, thank God.
You have glucosamine and chondroitin.
Yeah.
The two that you.
That's the only issue I see with you. Your brother, just with his stomach. I know he does. You know what? He's actually just a nervous person in life, though.
Yeah. Well, he's 53 and he's got a 14-year-old daughter. So.
And that's not old. That's not old.
No, but he's got a 14-year-old daughter, so he feels a lot older, So because, my mother had all boys. Yeah. And now my mother has 7 grandchildren. Only one of them's a boy. All the rest are girls.
I love it. So, she must be so happy.
Yeah.
Girls rule. Yeah.
I remember the one time I remembered about the dream. Not the dream. I remembered about when I saw that man standing in my doorway. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to draw him as I remember him. He was probably a bit shorter than the doorway, a bit shorter. Mm-hmm. And it was just all black for me. And he's just staring at me, not saying anything, not
just looking in on you.
Yeah.
Just looking in, making sure you're okay.
No. Spirit, we are not made to live with spirits. I'm going to tell you that. And people say, oh, I don't want to, because I've done a lot of homes and where the people got attached to spirits and they want them to stay. You do not want them to stay. This is why people have health issues when spirits are around. So don't invite them in. Don't stay around them. You do have to take a break from this, Right. But the ones that are earthbound, that they will affect the health of. That's why you see these stories or these movies where people had health issues. I always see it on the Travel Channel, where they're interviewing the people where people had health issues. It's because they vibrate at a different frequency. You
Yes.
know, I actually trained in frequencies. Like I trained with the lower frequencies, and for what I do. And see, this is where, like, where I'm so well trained, thank God, because when I do my readings, I'm reading at a very high frequency, very high. Now, when I do investigations, I'm going back and forth. I'm going to the earth.
Right.
That's a very low frequency.
And that's a strain on a person.
It is a strain, but I trained in this. I actually train every day in frequencies, every day, because I do it so much.
And it's funny that you brought that up, because Jim and I had been talking to one of our former guests, and that subject came up, and we started to look into ways that we could bring that into our investigations. So we were thinking about having maybe like a Himalayan singing bowl and using it during investigation, and see if that the frequency of that specific bowl meshed with any of the spirits of the location, something like that.
Yeah, it's a different frequency. Like when I do readings, when the people have crossed over, it's a very high frequency. It's very hard to get to, and it's tough. But the lower energy, like I remember training this, and I was like the only one that could deal with the lower energy frequency, and I'm like, it doesn't bother me. It does, because I started so young doing house, going to residential homes.
Right.
To this day, like because I'm a shaman, so my chief to this day, like can't believe that it does not faze me with these lower frequencies. I'm like, it doesn't, because as a matter of fact, she'll say, like, when I was first training, and I'm like, I actually like it because I can relate to that, because I deal with that low frequency all the time.
Yeah.
When Dad was talking, I thought I heard someone whisper by him. Like, I thought I heard someone whisper. I couldn't hear what, like, it sounded like a female. I couldn't hear what she was saying, but I heard, like, a whisper.
Oh,
So,
Colette, it's intuitiveapril.com. Just asking for my website.
I'm sorry, what is it? I'll post it in here for you.
Intuitiveapril.com. Sir Brian Bowden saying, like, put salt in every corner of the room. This is another thing I'm going to tell you, because a lot of people make this mistake. People put salt around the house. Do not do this. This will keep the spirits in the house. This is what I'm saying. People dabble in this and don't know what they're doing. So you gotta be careful. But what you're saying in the corners is correct, because it's broken up. But I would use black salt. I love black salt. I use black salt for investigations when I do residentials. I actually take black salt before I walk into a building or a residence, and I step in it.
Huh.
And then when I leave, because it draws out negative energy, when I leave the residence, I pour the salt again and I step in it. It draws out the negative energy.
You have to remember that.
Yeah.
When I was at the
like, I say something. Do not put salt around the perimeter of the home. Do not do this or in the whole entire room. It will keep the spirits locked in. Somebody. Right. This is something similar. It wasn't not with salt, but I think I had later found out. So the priest did a clearing incorrectly at the Hinsdale house. They released the spirits, but onto the property. They are stuck on the property. Because I remember before going there, and I kept saying, I keep seeing 13 dead people walking up and down this road that goes nowhere. Did not know it was Hinsdale's house. I go to Hinsdale to see that road that goes nowhere to the water, Yeah.
But, so putting it in the corners is fine.
In the corner is fine.
But completing the circle it's like a sealing circle. Whatever's in the
Yeah. You know what? Listen, this you gotta leave this. Hey Mary, this to shamans know what they're doing. And not saying the witches don't, but the shamans are at a higher level than, the witches, Wiccan. Shamans are the only one that could break a spell, a witch's spell, do exorcisms. I actually train in exorcism. I will not do them because of my daughter. but I did a case last year where the guy was possessed, and it was crazy. I had to turn it over to somebody, but this guy definitely was possessed.
Huh.
It was my first time actually being in contact with something like this, and it was so bad. It was so bad that I'm talking to this guy, and I had to turn it over to somebody else. I turned it over to my chief, but as I'm talking to him, what I'm doing is not working. This
Right.
guy didn't let go. This guy didn't love the connection with this thing. He loved it so much. He didn't want to let it go. And as I'm talking to him, I want out of this house because I know he's not letting go. It's a waste of my time. I want out of here.
Right.
As I'm talking, there's a door behind him, a white door, and a black figure, big, blacker than black, goes past it to let me see it, to let me know. I'm like, good night, I'm leaving. If you need help, let me know. He didn't want to let go of it, and I couldn't force him.
Let me ask you this. This happened to me again. This was at this Keeley Mansion in Uniontown, Pennsylvania. We had been investigating most of the evening. We had done a couple sessions in the basement, a couple sessions in the different rooms up on the top floors, and then at one point we're in the parlor on the main floor.
Mike, can I say something? Also, sage is done incorrectly because Sir Brian Bowden said, people sage incorrectly. They do not do it correct, and that's why they don't get rid of anything. It clears the air for maybe a little bit. Oh, there's Taryn. Hey, Taryn. Taryn. There's our girl.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
So, once we get into the parlor and we're doing a session, out of nowhere, I just start getting really tired. And I mean, I'm drinking giant energy drinks, and I'm just falling out. So I stop the session. I go outside. I have a cigarette or two, and at that point, 15 minutes later or so, I feel fine, right? So I said to the two women that were out there with me, I said, look, let me go in and use the restroom. We'll meet back up and finish the session. Okay. I remember going in and using the facilities. I remember washing my hands. The next thing I remember is 45 minutes later, I'm now in the basement, and I have one female standing next to me, and she's screaming my name in my ear, and another female standing in front of me doing this. And it kind of snapped me out, and I was like, what are you doing? You're freaking me out. They said, we've been looking for you for 45 minutes, and you're down here in the basement by yourself sitting in the dark. I'm like, how the hell did I get in the basement? From the time I was washing my hands to that time that they started talking to me, I have no memory.
Wow, that's crazy.
And I had a Solo X on the shelf behind me. So I figured that's been filming the whole time. Let me pull the chip out, put it in the computer, and see.
Oh.
All of this happened at about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. Even though there was over a gigabyte of data space left on that chip, that camera stopped filming at midnight. And all the stuff that it did film up to midnight, it didn't have us on it, even though we were investigating down there at least twice. And like if I take this camera, right, and I set it here and I hit record and I walk away, it's going to record me walking away.
Yeah.
That wasn't even on there. So I have no video evidence to see what happened, and I have no memory for 45 minutes.
Well, you know what? Not saying this is it, but I'm going to tell you, I do think, I don't know if anyone agrees with me, but I can tell you, I know that a lot of hauntings are actually aliens.
Really?
I have been on cases where they are mimicked. They mimic a haunting. That's why some people they don't remember things. Not saying this happened to you, but it just dawned on me. They won't remember. They lose time.
Yeah.
They don't remember. And it's like, to me, I've encountered people with alien abductions, and but people think they're having a haunting because they're hearing noises. It's actually aliens. I mean, look at Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah.
But you know what happens is people, you see, even though it's kind of, they mess with the memory, the human mind is so strong, eventually it's going to come out. Then the people start having visions of what really happened. You know, that's why people say, like,
Right.
you know, that they're being prodded, whatever, brought on this ship. But they thought the whole time it was a haunting. But the mind is so powerful. I'm
Huh.
not saying that happened to you, but you see, like, how that time frame, doesn't it make sense?
It does. It really does.
Yeah.
I remember I think it was something like sleep paralysis, but I was.
Can I just really honestly, because a lot of people talk about sleep paralysis. I've had sleep paralysis and it was nothing.
And I was sleeping, and then out of nowhere, this picture pops up, and I think it was like some girl, like this giant Easter egg or whatever, and then it pops up, and I can't move. And my eyes are closed, and I hear it's a male. I definitely know it was a male. He was talking to me, but I don't know what he was saying. It was all gibberish pretty much.
You know what? I gotta tell you, because I gotta tell a lot of people, not everything's paranormal. Because we do this, everyone makes it 24/7 paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
This is not my life 24/7. You got to break away from it. Sleep paralysis happens.
Yep.
It's just a function, body function. We have nightmares. Yeah. You know, I had it happen. As a matter of fact, it happened the other day. I had sleep paralysis, and I thought my dog was walking on my head. I felt like somebody walked on my head. I woke up. I know it was nothing. I know it was just my body overtired or what have you. You know, but there really is sleep paralysis. But most of the time, I'm saying 99% of the times, it's just what it is.
And like while he's like, after he stopped talking to me, I like feel like something's up in my face, like moving or in my face, like it's like up in my face. I'm like, I'm not opening my eyes. I'm not opening my eyes. I know there's someone there.
Yeah, that
was like pretty much the third time it's happened to me. Hasn't happened to me yet, like since, but that was the third time it's happened.
Yeah. But I don't want you to get scared, like, because the sleep paralysis does happen, you know.
Yeah, and I got so scared. I tried not to go to sleep.
And you have to break away from
that's how scared I was.
You have to know that not everything's paranormal.
Yep.
You have to discount some noises you're going to hear. I hear noises in my house all the time. I know it's the floors creaking, you know. Yes, I definitely, Taryn, definitely. But when I see my girl Taryn, I get my energy back. I love her. She's the most beautiful girl in the paranormal.
She really is so nice.
She is. She's great. I just love her. I always tell everyone that I stalked Taryn because we were both on Paranormal Warehouse together, and I'm like, oh my god, she is so cool. She's so beautiful and such a cool girl. I want to hang out with her and be her friend. And I kept going on her show, like saying hi, and like she would kind of ignore me. Don't fight me, Taryn. But I just wanted to get her to notice. You know, hey, listen, we were hanging out, you know, this past weekend. Do you see when I was hanging out with you? Like, I just got done doing readings, and I come hang out with you like nothing happened. And it's a good old time. I had just left a reading where a girl, you know, I felt bad. I made her cry in a good way.
Right.
You know, so she was like walking out of there hysterical. As soon as I sat up and I went out with you guys, I was like, you know, normal me. You know me. I'm crazy, funny.
Oh,
we found out each other.
We got just a few minutes left, so why don't you go ahead and let everybody know what's going on in the busy world of April Busset, the psychic housewife. What's your schedule looking like?
Let's see. Well, I got readings going. Let's see. I'm going to be June 26th. I'm going to be at the Berkeley Plantation. It's a Flamery Promotions event. Guys, you can go to flamerypromotions.com. I don't know if you ever heard of them. This is, you know, Daryl Marston, Mustafa, who else we have? Chris Sutton, Rochelle, Brian, all the ghost hunters. We all work together. We do investigations with the public. It's a lot of fun. Where else am I going? I'm going to be all over. I'm going to be at Texas Paracon. I'm going to be at NJ Paraunity. Gettysburg Bash.
Yes,
I'll be there readings. So I am so psyched for that.
Yeah, I'm excited for this.
You're gonna love it.
So much fun.
It's such a great event. It really
Hopefully
is.
we could do this again. Next time have me on, we'll do readings because I didn't realize it was going to be 2 hours. We could have fit an hour's worth of readings.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I mean, we've done that before, but we don't like to do it the first time because, we want to let everybody get to know you, see how things are, and then we can throw you to the fire. So they're gonna have the bash. We'll see you there. I believe Jim and I are going up to the Para Unity, so we'll see you there.
Oh, that's awesome! I know. I'm so excited.
See now the reason. And no offense to you, but my main thing for Parent Unity is I have to meet John Zavis. I've been trying for 5 damn years, and every place that he's been, I have a schedule where I can't get to it.
He loves Pam.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Oh my! Listen, the night I met, the night I met John Zaffis at Power Unity, we had a blast. My husband loves Johnny Zaffis. That I say, hey John, come over here. I FaceTime my husband with Johnny Zaffis. He's so excited.
I know we were supposed to see him at Phenomenology last year, and they canceled it because of COVID.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Well, there's not too much longer. Is Johnny coming to the bash?
I don't think so. I know Pam and Steve have been trying. I don't know if his schedule allows it this year, but they're going to keep trying for every year until they can get him there.
Well, I think we have to take a ride to Johnny's house.
I am down for that. Down for that.
Come on. Tara, you in?
And you know what? We just power washed Steve's camper, so we'll take that.
Let's do it.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your time.
So I can't wait to see you. I'll see you in August.
Absolutely. It was great to meet you in person last weekend.
Yes.
And I can't wait to actually investigate with you. That's going to be phenomenal.
You know what? Let me know. Let's set something up.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. That's how my downtime investigating. Because, I used to do that with, my friends. I miss doing that, because now I do for work. People hire me to come do this. I miss going out, all night, sleeping in our cars and stuff.
Hell yeah.
Bugs falling over us.
Have a good night, Mary.
All right.
No.
Oh, Mary. Okay.
Love you, Mary.
So thank you again, everybody.
You guys are doing Cash Down In
tomorrow night.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yep, and then here on Saturday.
I'll be here by myself tomorrow if I can. So that's pretty good.
Fine.
Hey, bro, it's so nice to meet you. But But we'll see each other again. We'll definitely talk some more. Maybe I'll have a present for you.
Well, thank you again. I know your schedule's so busy. You're such a great person, and you share your gift.
I love you guys. I love you guys to death.
Absolutely love you too. And we will, at worst, see you in August.
Yeah, at worst, but don't worry. I love driving to Gettysburg.
Excellent. Thanks so much. Good night.
Good night, everyone.